This is the second video in the series on Laura and Mark Build a House. We had an issue pop up where I thought I had somebody hired to build the walls and the roof and the floor, but it turned out that they didn't have time to help out, so I ended up doing it myself. And that's what this video is going to go over. The first thing we did is we put in the beam and the center post. I did a beam beefy enough so that I only have to have one post right in the middle. And then here are the floor joists themselves. We have them all spread out, and then we have to take them and set them up on their end. I had a guy I work with help me do this portion of it. Each one of these had to have a little bit cut off each one so that they would fit across it. They come a little bit long, and then you cut them down to the size that you need. And we did have one that was damaged, but Menards made it right and they got me a new one, so it all worked out well. And here I put the floor in, and what we did was after the joists were all in, I laid one row of 4x8 sheets across. It wasn't set right, knowing that I was going to have to pull these up, but that allowed me to make sure that all of these joists were set on 16-inch centers. And so that way when we started on this side over here, I knew I had nice square and that everything would lay down well. And this is just another picture of the flooring as we were laying it down. It was a beautiful day for it. And between Laura and my father, we got all this sheeting down pretty easily in one day. We did have to come back the next day and put in some extra screws. And this is a picture with it all on. And this is when the rain came, so we had to we got some plastic and covered it. I don't know if that was a good idea or not. It ended up getting some water trapped under the plastic, but everything worked out. It only really got rained on, I believe, twice during this whole build. This is the walls that we started framing up. I did the south wall first, and I'd frame them all up and lay them down. And then I'd call my father, and he'd come over, and we'd lift him up and put him in place. This process went fairly smoothly. Making sure they're all level isn't a difficult thing, but you do have to take the time to do each one individually. And I did break it up into two sections, so they were each 16 feet, and so 2 per wall, so there were a total of 8 sections. It took 2 afternoons to do this. And this picture really isn't anything new, but I just really liked it with the sun. And then when we went to do the roof trusses, I had another friend of mine, Jerry, come over, and he helped me do that along with my father. And this is just us putting them up. And this, as we worked towards the end, it got a little tighter, but we just put the ladder up and just kept on going. And this is it completed. So we had the walls up and the trusses. The roof trusses took a day. Like I said, the walls took us about 2 half days, and then the roof took us 1 day. And then I spent the next day doing the same thing I did on the floor, where I laid those sheets across to make sure that they were all on 16-inch centers. I did the same thing with the roof, only the roof is every 2 feet, so 24-inch centers. But I went through and made sure all the trusses lined up. That took me another whole day to get through all that, going up and down the ladder and getting everything set just right. And then the next day, my father came over and helped me sheet the outside of the house. It was another really nice day for that. I've been really lucky so far on the build. The temperature hasn't gotten too cold yet. And this is Laura, my wife. She came around and put in a bunch of screws. She got as many as she could for as height challenged as she is. And the sheeting and all the screws took 1 day, and then the next day we sheeted the roof. The roof took about a little over a day because we only got so far, and we were working hard, so I really didn't get any pictures of it. So this isn't really the only picture that I took with just the sheeting on. And the next day I came back and finished the smaller sections that were up here in the peak, and then we started laying the felt down. This is Laura up on top putting in a bunch of button nails, and this is once again my father helping out, and we just rolled out the felt, and it took a lot of nails. We're not sure we're going to get the roof on until the spring, so we bought the best felt we could buy, which is a synthetic type of felt, something I'd never worked with before, And the number of button nails we had to put in that thing, I think we had over 2,000 nails in the roof. And for a 32 by 32 house, I did not think it would take that many. And this is actually a picture of me up here on the roof putting in some of it. Laura must have taken this one, and this is my father climbing up the ladder. And this is another picture of us, felt in hand, getting ready to roll out another roll. And this is how it stands today. We got the front door in, and once again, we didn't get pictures of this. My wife and I worked pretty hard all day. She did the button nails up to about here, and then I did the button nails up on the top, and we got the house wrap all around it. When we got a door in, and we finished up putting the sheeting on the triangles up here. Hopefully next weekend I can finish putting the house wrap on, and then I bought a thin roll of house wrap that I'm going to cover along here to cover the soffit, and then I'm going to tuck this roofing felt under too and staple it all up, so it should be sealed up pretty good for the winter if I don't get to the soffit. Now if we have a good December and I can get to all of it, that'll be great, but if not, we'll be sealed up.